What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Um, so close, so close. This is it. It may not look like much, but this is my X-Carver Pro 4x4. Got it delivered today and got it put together. We live stream on my other channel with it. We're going to be doing live streams in here when we really get this thing up and running and building stuff in here. It'll be kind of cool. We'll be able to make anything. The stuff that I'm doing currently with the Joe Bardys and stuff, that's basically elementary in comparison to what this will do. This would be doctorate degree as opposed to the other stuff. Okay, this is high tech, but it's funny because it's beautiful. Oh my God, it is so freaking beautiful. And we went in here while we were setting it up. It was moving around and doing all the things it was supposed to do, but it wouldn't home because see, it has to actually calibrate itself. And we called Inventables and stuff, and we worked with this great guy, Amani, and for hours trying to figure out what the problem was. And it turns out, let me show you. It's a little button switch right there. That little switch right there. That little switch that's probably about $10 is keeping this big thing from running. That little switch, because this thing has to touch it and say, aha, this is where we stop. Because that switch, that one switch is messed up. It won't work. So unfortunately, when we finally figured that out, the warehouse is already closed, so they won't be able to send it out till tomorrow, which means I won't be able to do anything with it till Friday. So it is what it is. I just have to wait till Friday to be able to use it. But it's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys because it's pretty. Oh my God, look at it. Look. I mean, we don't have the cover on here, but look at this thing. This mother humper is gorgeous, you know? Only problem is it don't work. And that's the Dallas Cowboys. Man, you go to AT&T, man, that place is beautiful. You think, oh my God, this is a house of champions. It's beautiful, man. This is incredible. Yet they don't win. Mike McCarthy. We finally heard from Mike McCarthy. And I'll say this much for Mike McCarthy. At least it wasn't a Jason Garrett type end of the season press conference. I don't know if you guys remember him. Jason Garrett would come out and he'd have this shit-eating grin. Well, hello, guys. Yeah. Well, the season's over. But, I'm proud of my guys, the way they competed and stuff. We're going to get better. We're going to learn from this losses, and we're going to get better. We're going to look at the film. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you happy about? What are you happy about? You have failed again. We've just lost, and you got this big cheesy grin on. You're happy that you still have a job? Because that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. So we have Mike McCarthy, who you can see is feeling the pressure. Mike McCarthy, in a way, kind of deflected and put some of the blame on Kellen Moore. He says the installer calls the plays. So basically, he's saying, yeah, I gave the okay for the quarterback sneak. We look at it and we say 17 seconds is the cutoff. He tried to justify that play. The game, now let's be clear, the game was lost because of more things than just that one play. Let's be clear. But a play here and a play there and a play here and a play there equals getting blown out. Understand that the difference between winning and losing is so small in the NFL. And when you said your players were nervous, I don't know that I've ever heard a team, anybody ever say that. Because when you say they were nervous, as soon as he said that, what went through your head when you heard they seemed a little nervous? First thing, if they seemed a little nervous, isn't it your job to fire them up, to get them prepared to play, to get those nerves out of there? You know, the Newt Rockney speech, you know, where you get the guys fired. Because, see, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you a great example. I'll try and be short-winded with this, because this is me going back to my days. I walked on football JMU. I'll be clear. I tore up my ACL in high school and basically forget about football. You know, I wasn't that big. I played offensive line. So, you know, I focused in on track. I went to JMU and I tried to become a decathlete. Problem was, I kept breaking pole vaulting poles. So I broke the third one. They're like, we don't have it in the budget to keep trying to teach you how to pole vault. You're muscling too much. Your ass is too big to do that. I was great at throwing shot put, discus, sprinting. And that 1500 killed me. It killed me. High jumping, I couldn't jump that high. But regardless, I had Coach Charles Jones, who actually was with the Cowboys for a bit, but he broke his wrist. He was our defensive line coach. He'd see me in the weight room. He'd see me running. He recruited me to play football at JMU. And he was like, I want you to play nose guard. I'm like, well, you see how big these guys are? He said, no, but you're fast and you're strong. He said, you can use that speed. And that's what we did. Okay, to make this long story short, practice squad, scout team, whatever you want to call it, scrub, glorified punching bags, okay? First team comes out, they practice on you, they go out and rest. Then the second team comes out, they practice on you. They go back out, then the first team comes back out. You don't go out for breaks. That's the truth. Instead of listening to the guy saying, you know, if you make me look good, we won't kill you. And I'm like, screw you on that, because that's not making you any better. Me being soft on you is not going to be like the other guys that play you next week. They're not going to be soft on you. So I played. I tried to work hard. I was trying to get the quarterback. Shit, I'm not just here to get beat up. I want to get some glory. And because of that, I ended up getting from scout team to actually traveling squad. Hot man on kickoffs. Okay? Now understand, I'm 5'10.5" on a good day. They said 6 foot. It said 6 foot and about 220 pounds. I'm the hot man on kickoffs. The game that we're about to play, the Oyster Bowl, which is the biggest game in the state of Virginia. It was, in Old Dominion University. They get 2 teams that play in there. It was us against University of Richmond, our rivals. And I realized what my job was. My job doesn't exist anymore because it's too dangerous. My job is I'm the closest guy to the kicker. I run down the field 40 yards, and this is when they had the wedge. You get about 5 fat guys that get there together to start making a wedge. My job was to run into the wedge and bust it. That's all you're supposed to do. You're just supposed to go in there and smack the wedge. And I remember being scared to death thinking, this is my job before that first game. I'm nervous. Like Mike McCarthy said, I'm nervous. I'm scared. I am scared to death about this. It's college football. There's 30,000 people in the stands. I am literally ready to throw up. But I remember Coach Joe Przicki was in there and doing this pregame speech. And he started getting us fired up. It was almost like back in the day, Jesse Jackson speech, I am somebody and things. And he said, we got Mark Holmes out there. Mark Holmes, and he started getting, started pumping me up. Mark Holmes, you're going to go out there. You're going to crush somebody and everything else because you are somebody. And I'm just like, yeah, coach, yeah. I am literally ready to run through a fucking wall. I'm not thinking about being scared. I am not worried about anything. I am ready to destroy. That's what the coach is there for. So if you're telling me, Mike McCarthy, that Kellen Moore is doing the installing and he's doing the play calling and you're just signing off, and if you're telling me that the players are nervous, then what did you do to get them past that? What did you get them to do? Or what can you get them to do to get beyond being nervous? Because here's where you didn't throw people under the bus, but you threw people under the bus. You said Kellen Moore, he's the installer. The installer calls the plays. You know, right? So that's saying, well, don't look at me for the game plan. That's Kellen Moore. Then you talk about the players. Well, the players seemed a little nervous, so don't look at me. We had the game plan. He had the game plan. The players ended up not executing. I'm good. And of course, he talked about winning. Remind me of Lefty Driesell. Lefty Driesell, who coached the University of Maryland. Old Lefty. And he ended up leaving the University of Maryland. He got fired. And he went to JMU and coached the basketball team there. But old Lefty, don't tell me I don't know how to coach. Actually, we can tell you don't know how to coach. We actually can tell you that. That's why he got fired from a couple of jobs. When you have to tell everybody, I know how to win, buddy, you got problems. People should know you know how to win if you're doing your job. Now, I'm not saying that he's not a good coach, but the thing is, as much as I am a homer Dallas Cowboy fan, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I am a live and die Dallas Cowboy fan. I look at everything from the positive side as much as possible. I try and give the benefit of the doubt. But if you tell me that you're playing at home, that you have the number one scoring offense, you have the number one yardage offense, you have the number one defense of taking the football away in a top 7 defense, and you're playing at home in the playoffs in the wild card, and you lose, you got to start saying, dude, what the F? I thought you knew how to coach. The other side of the equation is sometimes coaches get fired too soon. Sometimes they get held on for too long. I think Jason Garrett was there for too long. A coach should have 5 years. Or, excuse me, if a coach has not won in 5 years, chances are they're not going to. If you do not get success in that much time, because that's enough time for you to go ahead and say, here's what I'm going to do. Now, I need the players to do what I'm going to do. And if you can't get the players and get them on the page with what you're planning to do in 5 years, you're never going to. You're never going to. The statistics will bear that out now. It's not like back in the day with Tom Landry and Don Shula and stuff where they were there for 30 years. Now, in football, you got about 3 or 4 years. And if you're not successful, you're gone. And sometimes the guys getting fired and getting the blame don't always deserve all the blame. You have to look at the organization too and what they're trying to get you to do. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some idiots out there that should never be given an opportunity to be a head coach because they don't have the experience for it. Urban Meyer. Old ball coach. You weren't ready. You didn't have the experience. But then there's some you got to give the benefit of the doubt. And every coach is going to have bad years. Sean Payton had 3 7-9 seasons, although he's only got 1 Super Bowl win. Although he's also had some 13-3 and 12-5 seasons recently and not been to the Super Bowl. It's tough to get there. As Mike McCarthy said, it's hard to win in football. Yeah, but buddy, you're at a job that's what you are judged upon winning. So that's the gist of Mike McCarthy's press conference. I listened to it out here while we were working. Actually, let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this real quick. See if it's still plugged in. Because this is sexy, y'all. This is crazy. Let me see. Check this out. Watch this. I think. Oh, I turned the power off. Duh. Check this out. I can't make it cut anything yet, but I can certainly make it move. Check this out. 10. Okay. Watch this. I think. Okay. Unlock. Look at that. Oh my goodness. My big boy toy. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Look at that. Oh, wow. So, yeah. Come Friday, get this new switch in here. And I'm going to be making some shit. And maybe, if I can get this working, maybe we can get the Dallas Cowboys working. I'll see y'all later. Peace.